Now that you're familiar with our dashboard, let's take a look at how you start building activities and lessons. Each one of our 7 applications has an icon across the top of the screen to quick create a task, or you can select New Lesson. For this one, I'm going to start by selecting a new lesson. I am then prompted to either add an existing task from my library that I've already created or build a new one. In this case, I'm going to build a new one, and I'm going to open class by polling my students, so I will select our Poll It tool. You can check out our video library to find individual short videos on the uses of each tool, but for this video, I'm just going to focus on the main creation screen. Once I begin to make a task, I'll be prompted with my lesson information box. This is really just to help you stay organized, and the only field that is mandatory to enter is a lesson title. I'm going to call this Day 3 Activity. If you want, you can also pick your subject and grade level, but these fields are not required. You can also add a description of the lesson or an image cover that will show on your dashboard. Once you have your fields entered, simply click off it and you're into the creation screen. When you're here, you can go ahead and write your question or prompt. I'm going to ask my students, what season do they like the best? For this task, it is going to be a survey with 4 choices to choose from. I'm going to insert summer, winter, fall, and spring. Up in the question box, I'm going to use my rich text editing features to bold, underline, and highlight my text. Next, you'll see a microphone that the teacher can use to add oral directions or notes to a task. So by clicking on this, anything I say while recording will now be saved and attached to this question for my students. You might choose to clarify directions, or maybe refer to a previous lesson in which information may help to guide students in this task. Once I have my question framed, and I've added oral instructions if I choose, I then add my teaching materials. For every task, you can add a math equation, a YouTube video by inserting a link, an image that is saved to your computer or from our image library that you can search and attach from here. For this task, I choose to add an image of my favorite season from our image library. I can also add a PDF that is saved onto my computer, or I can access the teacher whiteboard. By accessing the teacher whiteboard, I can write my students any notes using this template. To learn more about the tools in here, watch our video on Teacher Whiteboard. Once you feel good about your question, you can click the Settings button to add more details to the lesson. I can change the task title. I can give it a lesson component. In this case, it is an independent practice. And I can write notes here, so if I share this lesson with any of my colleagues, they will know exactly what I was thinking and how I intend to use it. Once you're complete, you can go ahead and launch this single task, or add another task to make a lesson. When I select Add Task, I will again be prompted to choose either a tool to build with or to grab an existing task from my lesson library. In this case, I'm going to grab an existing task and add it to my lesson. Now you can see that my teacher timeline along the left is beginning to populate, and I have 2 different tasks located in this lesson. I can complete that process as many times as I'd like until I feel as though my lesson is complete. On my teacher timeline, I can also organize my tasks by clicking and dragging them into the appropriate order. If I want to control the pace of my students completing the lesson, I can add a pause point between the tasks I would like, and now, when my students finish the first activity, they will not be able to move on to the second until I open the pause point. This allows me as the teacher to control the pacing of the lesson. The last thing I can add is student feedback to the end of any lesson. By doing so, I give my students an opportunity to ask questions they still have while working through the lesson. Once you've perfected your lesson, you can go up to the upper right corner to launch your lesson and set it live. At the top of the screen, you'll find your lesson ID code, which can be shared to your students by projecting it on the board, taking a screenshot and posting it to your learning management system, or sending it out via text or email.